What terrifies the proud is not your anger. It is your silence. Silence is a room with no audience, a mirror with no mercy. It offers no soft edges, no quick rescue, no borrowed certainty. It leaves the other alone with what they are, not what they pretend to be. When you stopped explaining, stopped chasing, stopped giving them the weather of your emotions, you did the unthinkable. You vanished into strength. In a windswept tent at the edge of empire, a man once wrote by lamplight not to rule the world, but to rule himself, Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Strength is not noise. Strength is ownership. Strength is the hand that decides when to open the gate and when to let the knocking fade into night. They expected the old choreography: push, pull, protest, proof. They expected you to argue so they could argue back, to defend so they could attack, to plead so they could feel tall. Instead, you did nothing, and in doing nothing you did the one thing they could not counter. You took the tempo. In every conflict there is a hidden conductor. The one who sets the pace sets the tone. Silence is the conductor's wand. It slows what tries to stampede. It refuses the cheap urgency of impulse. It makes the moment answer to virtue, not adrenaline. Seneca whispers from the shelf, the lamp warm on his pages. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Your silence starved their theater. Without your lines to play against, the play collapsed into an audience of one. They watched their confidence crack in the echo of their own thoughts. They began to ask questions their pride had never faced. Did I lose them? Was I cruel? Have they outgrown me? Every unanswered message became a mirror. Every quiet day a ledger. Epictetus sharpens the law that guards your gate. No man is free who is not master of himself. Self-mastery is not a poster. It is a practice. Try this now, your soldiers drill for storms. Breathe before you believe. 12 slow breaths. Name what rises. I want to be understood. I want to fix their view of me. I fear being misjudged by naming you narrow. Storms become clouds you can map. 2. Write, don't send. Pour the first reply into a private page. Watch how much of it exists to calm anxiety rather than to serve truth. Invert the scene. If a friend showed you this exact message in history, what would you advise them at noon? Not at midnight? Return to first principles. Will my words be honest, courageous, temperate, and just, or are they a payment for momentary relief? Choose a gate, closed, no reply. Courtyard, brief, kind, boundary first. Hall, measured exchange after evidence of change. Gates, not swings. A parable from the old road. A courier arrives at midnight, frost in his beard, clutching a sealed tablet. Urgent, he insists. The general lights a lamp, then closes the flap against the wind. Clarity, he says, loves the morning. At dawn, the seal breaks. The map is read with steady hands. The right decision is made without the tax of panic. So with you, urgency is the costume of impulse. Peace requests an appointment. Your silence frightened them because it revealed a truth they had avoided. Attention is access. They had mistaken your kindness for consent, your patience for permission, your explanations for dependence. When you withheld attention, you established a border they did not know existed, your standard. Isn't silence cruel? Asks the untrained heart. Cruelty hides and harms. Silence, rightly used, clarifies and guards. You are not depriving anyone of dignity. You are declining to finance a pattern with your peace. You can wish them well and still keep the gate. You can forgive and still refuse re-entry. Forgiveness is an interior release. Access is an external policy. Let your life adopt the law of the inner citadel. Pace. No replies at night. The nervous system bargains poorly after dusk. Place. No replies from the wound. Walk or sit in stillness before you type. Proof. No re-entry without evidence. Feeling is not a plan. Politeness. Kind or quiet. Nothing in between. Marcus returns, not as marble, but as mentor. If a thing is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Ask, does this conversation serve who I am becoming? If not, let the screen dim like a torch set down at the end of watch. Now notice what silence has already built. It rebuilt tempo, you. Answer on your time. It rebuilt value, your presence. Is no longer an open faucet. It rebuilt. Respect. Unpredictable calm commands what predictable pleading never. Could the proud do not fear your anger? They can spar with it. They fear your sovereignty, because it cannot be baited, bought, or borrowed. End this chapter with a vow spoken softly in the dim hall of your mind. I will not speak to escape discomfort. I will speak or remain silent to embody virtue. If they fear your quiet, let it be because your peace is no longer for sale, and your gate answers first to reason, then to time, and only then, if earned, to their knock. Your silence has done what words could not. It cracked their certainty. It turned confidence into doubt, arrogance into reflection, and noise into fear, because nothing frightens the unexamined soul more than the sound of its own echo. While they sit wondering why you've gone quiet, you are no longer wondering at all. The battlefield they once ruled through emotion is empty now. They pace it alone, replaying the past, searching for your voice. But all they find is silence. And in that silence, truth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And that is the gift silence brings. When you withhold words, the noise clears. Your thoughts grow sharper, cleaner, disciplined. You start to see not what you lost, but what you reclaimed, yourself. The proud believe control is found in speaking louder. The wise know control is found in saying less. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the refinement of it. It is the sharpened edge of composure, the discipline of restraint. The one who can stay calm when provoked has already won. The one who can walk away without applause has already ascended. Seneca taught, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you stopped responding, their imagination took over. They replayed every scene, every word, searching for control that no longer exists. Each unanswered message became a small mirror of consequence. They began to see what they once dismissed: your patience, your loyalty, your value. And the silence they feared most was not yours. It was their own conscience waking up. But you are no longer trapped in that cycle. You've built what the Stoics called the inner citadel, a fortress of composure, unshaken by another storm. No insult, no guilt, no manipulation can breach its walls, because you finally understand that peace is not granted, it is guarded. Your silence did not make you cold. It made you clear. It did not make you bitter. It made you boundaried. It did not make you cruel. It made you careful about what deserves your energy. When you stopped reacting, you began rebuilding. While they sought control, you sought discipline. While they sought attention, you sought growth. And the difference between you now and them then is the distance between chaos and order. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom, then, is not found in saying whatever you feel. It's found in choosing when to speak and when not to. That's what silence truly is: freedom from needing to prove, explain, or perform. The moment you realized you could hold peace instead of defending it, you stepped into mastery. You stopped being an actor in their story and became the author of your own. Here is a truth the Stoics lived by: those who depend on reaction lose control of direction. Every time you react, you hand over power. Every time you explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you give away your serenity. But every time you stay calm, every time you let silence speak, you remind the world and yourself that your peace is not up for negotiation. Your silence teaches 3 lessons they were never ready to hear. They never controlled you. They controlled your reaction, and now they have neither. Your absence is not revenge. It is revelation. It shows what your presence was truly worth. You did not lose them. They lost access to you, and that is a different kind of loss, one they will not forget. Silence is not distance. It's dignity. It's the line between reacting like everyone else and living like few ever will, and yet, silence is not meant to last forever. It is a forge, not a tomb. What emerges from it is not emptiness, but enlightenment. Through your silence, you learn that power is not in possession, but in presence. You no longer need to prove your worth to those who could not see it. You no longer chase closure from those who ran from accountability. You no longer argue to be understood. Because the truly strong do not seek validation, they embody it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire yet wrote to himself like a student. He said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That is the discipline you now carry, the law of restraint. You speak only when it serves virtue, not vanity. You act only when it honors peace, not pride. You reply not from emotion, but from alignment. This is what your silence built, a higher standard, forged from stillness. It is the quiet confidence that no longer needs to shout to be heard. Look at how far you've come. You were once the one waiting for replies, refreshing your phone, hoping for change. The same silence that once felt lonely, now feels like free now. You rise early, breathe deeply, and understand that no message defines your worth. Dom. The same absence that once ached now feels like armor. And the same person they thought would break has built something unshakable. Discipline, clarity, power.